Okay. So really, I just start from the beginning. Start from when you were born, who your parents are, and then just go from there, and we'll
Okay,
go.
I can give you a little bit of background. And well, first of all, I was born in January 1940, before World War II started. So I'm a pre-war baby. My mother is a Lomax. Her family originally came from Winston-Salem. She's a big part of Dutch, so she's got a lot of Dutch in her. And my father is from the immigrant side of the family that came from Scotland, and he's William Taylor. And go back in our ancestry, you can find out that we've been in the South a number of generations. And they came down, well, actually, my mother's family came down the Tennessee River and settled in Bells, Tennessee, which is outside of Jackson, Tennessee. It's a farm there that her father built there. And unfortunately, the family farm, he actually died of some sort of disease that he got while hunting in the Big Black Swamp in Mississippi. And she was 12 years old, and she and one other sister went to live with an aunt. So she was raised in Helena, Arkansas, and then went to school in Jackson, Mississippi, and that's where my father met her. My father's family was the Taylors in Simpson County, Mississippi, and his father was actually a deputy sheriff in that area near Delo, Mississippi. It's a little town that's basically gone now. It was a railroad town. But I remember the family farm. We used to go out there, and when I was a kid, and see the big trains go by on the Illinois Central main line between New Orleans and Chicago. Went through the back side of the property there. So I remember seeing the big steam engines. In fact, walking along the track picking up coal, and we fed coal to the pigs because it cleaned them out. But anyway, that's my parents' background, and they met in Jackson when my mother was going to business school, and she started working for S.S. Kresge's company, which is a predecessor of Kmart. And she worked there until they got married and started a family. My father was the early part. He worked at the POW camp, the prisoner of war camp for Germans during the war. Since he was married and had children, when the war started, he didn't get drafted, even though his sister and my uncle were both in the military during World War II. And my uncle served in the Pacific campaign, and my aunt, I'm not sure, I don't remember where she was stationed, but both of them were in the Army. And my father did the procurement for the commissary and kitchen and stuff at the prisoner of war camp in Flora, Mississippi. And he had an army truck that he used to drive around into the wholesale warehouses and pick up food and stuff for the prisoners there. Because I remember in 1944, I was 4 years old when our house burned. And I have vague memories of that, of actually going to the movies. We went to a drive-in theater, and they announced over the PA system to go home that the house was on fire. So we went there, and the house was totally engulfed. And I don't remember that, but other than my father telling me about it. But I do remember standing on the other side of the road from where our house was, looking at the house, and all it was a chimney and smoldering ruins. And that army truck, it was parked next beside the house, had burned too. And it had the hoops over the top of it, and it was just sitting there. So I don't know how what happened to that, but anyway, we went to live with an aunt in Jackson, because we were out on a farm. That's where our house was. And we lived there for a short time until there was an empty tenement house. It was used as a sharecropper house that was available on the property next door. That there were a couple of them like that. One of them was pretty well run down, but we fixed up one. So I lived there for probably a year or 2 years until we built a new house. But during the war, you couldn't get building materials. It was all going to the war effort, so we had to live in that house. It had no electricity. It had, in fact, we wired it, got electricity in it while I was there, but we had no inside bathroom, so we had an outhouse. And no running water, had a pump, well. So, and I remember walking up a dirt road to catch the school bus to go to school. So I remember that. The school bus was an old wooden type where the seats were long rows down the center of the bus, and you sat on a bench, wooden bench in the center of the school bus. That's kind of early memories. But I do remember the blackout drills that we used to have during the war, because when we went to my father liked going to the drive-in because we could all the kids could pile in the back of the car. And I remember the blackout drills, and then the car had tape over the headlights except for just a little slit. And then I remember the ration coupons that we had during the war. You couldn't get shoes and stuff like that, but you had so much you could get. And gasoline, you had to have a coupon to get gas and stuff. So that's kind of the real early history.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, so you want to go back and talk about
Okay,
that?
we regress just a little bit and go back to my Boy Scout days. And I fortunately, thanks to my mother, had saved my merit badge slash. The Scouts, this is all the different merit badges I had gotten in the Scouts. In fact, it's 2 sides. It was the most merit badges in my troop. And my Explorer uniform that I had was lost in a fire when I was a sophomore in college. The dorm burned.
You and fire.
Yes. I've had some interesting things. This is the Order of the Era sash that I got for the Boy Scouts. I was in the Order of the Era. That was an honorary society. And my hats, this is the Boy Scout hat, and this is the Explorer hat. The old, put it on, let's see, it reminded me of my Navy hat too. Ooh, it don't even fit. It's too little. Got a big head. And this was a summer shirt that I had. In fact, it's got the thing on it, the Jackson, Mississippi Troop 31 that I was in. And this, I don't remember that badge. It's I don't know what that was for. Maybe that was the troop or the patrol I was in. I think that was the patrol, yeah. This was one of my early ones. But telling about my experience at college. Put my hat back on. I like my hat.